everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to do a video on all of my powders. So this is part of the series of viewing my stash, and I just wanted to share the powders that I have. Now I don't have a lot of powders, so this video is not going to be very long, but we're just going to talk about them because I don't know, like it's some of my favorite products to talk about, even though, and I have to put a caveat here too, and I think I've mentioned this before in the past, is that I no longer use a lot of powder. Like today, I'm using no powder on my face. It's all setting spray. So I basically use like this much in the past like couple months because I am strictly using setting spray, but when I use it, I tend to use a lot because I like it to get looking glowy and not like dry and dusty. So that being said, when I first started my makeup, I loved a good powder look. So I wouldn't necessarily bake. I think there was a few times I baked. And baking just is you put on excess powder, and actually there's like some kind of chemical reaction that happens with your foundation or concealer when you have excess powder on top, and it literally cooks it to your skin, and so it's supposed to look really flawless and beautiful. I don't do that. I've only done it a handful of times because I've always had, like, I don't want to accentuate my fine lines or anything, so I use glowy setting spray. So anyway, so actually there's two products I don't have that I have to give an honorable mention, and I don't even remember if I can remember their names. One of them, it was the Coty Powder. Can't remember the name of it. I'll see if I can find it on Amazon and I'll link it, but I think it had like an orange cap or pumpkins on the front. I don't remember, but it had a very, very potent smell, and you could tell like for sure that was like what it was. I think it was by Coty, I think is what it was. You can get it at Walmart, and I'm pretty sure they still have it. The other one was the peach setting powder. It was a Too Faced peach powder, and it just smelled so good, but it was also very drying. So those are the two honorable mentions, only because they were like the powders I first started with when I started my channel, and I used to use them all the time. Okay, so now I've kind of fluctuated between loose powder and powder that's like baked, not baked, but like pressed powder, because I feel like pressed powder, you get more, like you get less payoff, which is sometimes what you want. You don't want tons of product. So if you're using powder that is in a container, like loose powder, you just want it a little bit. Like when you put it on your face, you don't want to be able to see it. You put it on your brush, you tap your brush off, and then you put it around your eyes and just set very, very minimally. And that's kind of how you use the powder. Like you don't have to like put tons on your face unless you're baking. So the next few, like, and I think I've gone through, I don't think I've actually ever gone through a powder, but I've given lots away over the years. So I've got a couple of Jeffree Star products here. So the first ones, now I can't remember if this was the Luminous or this one. Which one was the Luminous one? No, it was this one. Okay, so I've got two different colors here. This pink one was the original. I've got it in shade Banana and the shade Beige. Banana is definitely more yellow, and I usually use the shade Beige, so I hardly have used the Banana one. But these are definitely nice. I've also got the Luminous in the same color, so Banana and Beige. Oh, no, I got Natural. So Natural I think is even darker, but it's good for when you're in, like, tanning in the sun. Beige is like my go-to color in winter. So the Luminous one actually has luminous particles in it, similar to Hourglass, like the Hourglass Luminous powders. That's kind of what it's like, but it's a loose setting powder. So anyway, I've got these. I'm not going to open them up. They smell like baked cotton candy or smoked cotton candy, and they're so pretty. They're very, very nice. Okay, so I've got those two. Then I also have, oops, I'm like dropping everything everywhere here. I've also got two Charlotte Tilbury. So the name changed a little bit on them. I've got number 1 and number 2. Number 2 is my new one. So the old one was called Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Micropowder, the shade 1 Fair. And this one was Airbrush Flawless Finish Complexion Perfecting Micropowder in shade 2 Medium. So I think I've actually used these quite a bit. Like this one I've definitely used, but you can tell that the shade difference. I like this one for underneath my eyes, and I like this one for all over, although I haven't really used it. But this stuff is really nice, really, really fine. It's a little pricey, but it doesn't have a lot of product. So it's the one thing I can tell you for sure, but it goes on really smooth because it is such a fine powder. So an honorable mention, this is a really good powder, and I know that, like, I don't hear a lot of people talking about it anymore, but it's also very finely milled and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful, like, natural luminous matte finish. Not really luminous, but natural matte. It's the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder, and it's so nice. I still have so much of this product left, so I'm so happy because I don't want to buy a new one, but, like, I will. If I ever run out, I would buy a new one. But powder lasts me, like, forever. So now I also have 2 of the Kosas powders. One is, they're called the Cloud Set Baked Powder. One is Feathery and one is the shade Cushion. So I'll show you what the colors look like. One I got for summer and then the other one I got for, like, winter, basically. So this is the shade Cushiony and this is the shade Feathery. So you can tell I have definitely used that one a little bit more. This is more golden. They're weird because they're baked. Now I also have the one size powder. So this is the, I don't even know if it has the name on it. It says One Size Ultimate Setting Powder in the shade Translucent. And it's a little bit drying. So I only got a little baby size because I wanted to try it. I mean, a lot of powder is drying if you use a lot of it, right? I also have the Mercier powder. So people swear by this powder as long as you use a teensy tiny bit. That's the way it's meant to be used. So don't drown it. Don't use it to bake. People have, and maybe people like that, but apparently you're supposed to use just a tiny bit. This is also Translucent Loose Setting Powder, the shade Translucent. And I don't have the Luminous one, but I know that there are Luminous ones available too. Okay, and then I think I'm down. Like, I honestly, you guys, I hardly have any powders at all, so this video is not long. I've got the Huda Beauty Easy Bake and Snatch Pressed Brightening and Setting Powder in the shade Pound Cake. So all of my Huda Beauty powders, I've only got 2. This one is in Pound Cake. I like this one too. I like the fact that it is pressed. What I find a lot of people will do and how they bake is they dampen their sponge. They go in with the powder. Now I have done this. You can see here, you just take the damp sponge and smooth it in the powder and then use it underneath the eyes. If you don't have wrinkles, go for it. You do that because it is an amazing finish when you have no wrinkles. If you have wrinkles, it just doesn't work out so well. Okay. I mean, you don't even have to be old. You could just have wrinkly eyes. It could just be genetic. So, yeah, I don't know. That one, it's still good. I love that one. I almost like that one over the loose finish, but we'll get there. So I also got the Patrick Toffer Face Cream Foundation and Finishing Powder Duo. this is the shade Light 3. I'm just doing this as an honorable mention because it does have a powder in here. So this is kind of my shade range right now. It's got the foundation and then the powder. So I just wanted to mention that it is a foundation though. Okay, I also have the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. This one's really, really nice, but I keep it in a drawer that I don't often reach toward, so I don't keep it. I don't use it as often, but it's actually really nice for a drugstore. Highly recommend if you are on a budget and you want a drugstore product. That's also really, really good. It's really pretty, and it's also got a luminous finish. It's very nice. I'd say luminous matte, leaning more towards matte, but it's very light. Okay, so the last 2 products I believe here, I've got my Danessa Myricks Beauty. This is probably the last powder I bought in springtime. This is the pink shade, and it's Evolution Powder, Priming, Smoothing, Setting Powder is what it's called, but it's the shade pink. So this is the first pink product I've ever owned. I don't think it works well on like my skin tone. I do have a neutral skin tone. I've got blue and purple veins, or green veins. I've got green and blue. But when I say that, if you use a teeny tiny amount, it's perfect for under the eyes because it does brighten. I could even put a little bit underneath my eyes right now, and it would be fine. Like I could just, yeah, see, and I don't want to. See, I'm trying to stay away from powder. But the thing with powder is that it does leave a little bit of color if you choose a colored product. The last one I'm going to mention that I have is the Huda Beauty. It's Easy Bake, Loose Baking and Setting Powder in the shade Pound Cake. And it says, it gives you instructions. It says, number 1, pack under the eyes, T-zone, corners of the mouth, and chin. Let set or bake for 3 to 5 minutes and dust excess powder. So this one's nice. It does have this mesh here. Looks like I've been in there with a different brush, but I still have tons of product left. You can see I don't use powder that often, and when I do, I just use a teeny tiny amount. So And that is it for my powders. I do not have a whole bunch, but what I do have, like, it's enough. Like, because I don't use it that often, I don't feel like I'm justified in buying more. I'm just going to use up what I have and then repurchase as necessary or as needed. Because, again, like powders, I'm a little bit more picky with because I don't use them as often. So if I do have them, they better be good. So I'd swear by all of the ones I have. They're actually all pretty good. I've heard and seen some other ones that aren't as good. So if you have any questions or comments, like usual, leave it down below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new, please subscribe, click on the bell button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.